Howdy folks, how are y'all doing? My name is Rees and Merry Christmas season to all of you wonderful folks out there. Hope you're having a great December. Channel members, go with it. We are going to be stepping outside to look at bees for just a moment in today's episode. And then we're going to talk about train tracks, because I've been poking around in the game and doing a little bit of research and discovery, as they say. And I wanted to discuss some of our options with all of you folks regarding the future of Howdy Folks Railroads, which is going to be connecting the world. It's a subcategory, it's like a spin-off company of Howdy Folks Industries, which is what we really need to name this place if we had to give it a name. I'm not seeing any fresh new leaves. Sometimes the changes in color are super subtle and hard to notice, so I guess it's possible some of these could have changed, and I just wouldn't have noticed yet. But for now, we're going to go ahead and say we're probably safe to leave this be for a little while. And just kind of see what happens, so long as they have, well, you know, I guess first off we need to make sure they've got a forest princess ready to go. And it looks like we're getting even more bee diversity if we can't get all of these to stack. Yeah, okay. So this is like a super rare. We got our pristine princess there. We'll do that. I should be using the analyzer to figure out what the difference between these two are, and, you know, use that to determine which ones we should be using for what purpose. And we might do that next episode, but I'll be darned if I don't just keep talking about how eventually we're going to do things with trains and then just never actually getting around to it. That's my greatest sin right now, is just constantly saying that, man, eventually we're going to do things with trains and not doing it. So now that we've got that behind us, what happened up there? Is that just not loading in correctly? Is that what that is? Or did something horrific happen to the top of the tower? Why has it got a line through it like that? That's concerning. I'm not the only one who thinks that, right? I think that's just I think it's just not loaded in properly. Hello? Unless part of the tower is missing. There we go. Yeah, that's just the lights. That over there is the lights. We're good, I think. I hope? I don't know, I kind of feel compelled to just stand here and make sure it all filled in. Okay. Anyway, hold on. Whoa, wait a minute. Actually, this is where we do want to be for this, because this is where the train station is going to go, or at least our train station. This is going to be the train station for the villagers here to get to the island without a name over there that we have yet to really do anything with, even though we keep talking about, that's our Christmas gift to the whole world. We're going to build this wonderful little town where everyone can get together and there can be peace and prosperity and goodwill toward men and all that. But this is where the actual train station's going to go. It even says here, future train station. And I've been looking through all the tracks trying to figure out exactly how we need to go about building it. I've been looking at the recipe for the electric locomotive, which doesn't look too bad. I mean, we're going to have to build some things to get to things to get to things to build it, but it's not that complicated. We could definitely do it. Or we could just not, because I realized that, oh, regular vanilla tracks and activator tracks, and booster tracks, and then also detector tracks, but who needs those, are just here. They're just here. I don't know what an activator track does. I don't know how that's different than a booster track. My assumption with an activator track is that it activates something, so I don't really know why I've added it over here. It's a vanilla Minecraft object. You'd think, wow, Reese, you've been playing Minecraft for, like, over 10 years. You should know what an activator track does in Minecraft. But, you know, you definitely shouldn't need to set off minecarts with TNT. What? Activator rail is a type of minecart-based rail that can set off minecarts with TNT, decorative, active minecarts with hopper, and drop off any player entity inside the minecart. The activator rail must be powered to do this. It acts like a normal rail when it's not powered. What? It can eject the player and mobs from regular minecarts, lock and unlock hopper minecarts, and ignite TNT minecarts. Why are TNT minecarts a thing? Why do those exist in the first place? Obviously, I knew all of this because I'm someone who's played a lot of Minecraft over the years. Here's the advantage. These all have regular EMC values. We can just make an infinite number of them quickly, and quickly is important here. Or we can also just build regular old minecarts, if I spelled it correctly. We could also build them with, apparently, bee houses and apiaries and things, which is a great time. There's an astro miner. That's unrelated. That has nothing to do with any of this. So this might seem like a bit of a cop-out and an easy way out. And look, it should be said that we can definitely sort of, in the future, come back and revisit a lot of this and replace it with better tracks and minecarts. But for right now, you know, I mean, the holiday season is ticking by, and if we want to have this train super Christmas village or whatever it is over here open for Christmas Day, then we need to just get some stuff done. So what I think I'm going to do is build some vanilla tracks, and then we're going to come down here and build a train station. I'm trying to figure out what that's going to look like. Should it be 2 rails, like one going that way and one coming back, so that, you know, you can have traffic going in both directions and not collide into one another? That kind of seems like it could be important. We might want to elevate it as well. And then we're only going to have one destination from there. I think the hub will be here, so anyone coming from somewhere else will ultimately end up here, and then if they want to go somewhere else, they've got to get on another train and then go to that place, right? So that way, if you want to go from here to there, it's not a straight line. You have to come over here and then change trains and then go that way. That's just to simplify things. Because otherwise, if every train station has a track that goes to every other train station, all the train stations are going to be massive. And I'm not here for that kind of nonsense. That's going to take forever to build. You know, we'll just build, everyone gets their own train station, they all link back together at the central point on this island over here that we now have management over. You know, I don't know if we've kind of declared that to everyone that that's the situation, but I think we should probably just go ahead and stake ownership of this land now that I think about it. We'll own it, and then we'll donate it to be used as part of this sort of, hold on just a second, let's get a couple of signs. Let's see. Property of Howdy Folks Industries, and then right next to it we'll do another sign that says, managed by Howdy Folks Industries. Perfect. The sun's going down pretty quick. Well, let's go ahead and we'll build the train tracks first, and we'll build the mine carts, and then that way we can have those ready to go inside of our transmutation table, and we just whip them out as we need them. We're gonna have to build some bridges too. This is all automated, isn't it? I need to remember that. Yeah, there we go. Looks like you can build both of these tracks, or all of these tracks, using a combination of iron, sticks, and we only need to make one batch of each because they have an EMC value, redstone, and then redstone torches. So just like that, we should now have a small sampling of all the tracks we want. And then I think a minecart, I don't even need to look at that. I'm pretty sure that's just a U-shape. There we go. And that's also EMC-able. So that's good. I really do appreciate that. Some of you might say, oh, but Rees, what about the automations? To which I'll say, first off, it's a very interesting voice you have there. You sound like an old-school cartoon character, which is fascinating, honestly. I don't hold that against you. In fact, I actually kind of like it. And I hope you will continue to talk to me in that manner. And my response to you is simply that we'll get to it someday. Right now, though, we need to build a small train station. I don't think we need to bother with a ticket booth, although that could be a job for someone. And then also, if the train track generates its own revenue, I can just use that revenue to pay people to maintain the tracks, and then I don't have to do it. And then also, boom, we've made more jobs. So, yeah, never mind. I think I've sold myself on the idea. Let's clear away some of this land first. Okay, so one thing I'm unsure about is whether or not I want to replace the dirt and the stone down here with sand to kind of continue on with this sort of beautiful sandy beach aesthetic, because that's not super stable. You don't want to build your house on sand. It's in the Bible. But you also don't want to build a house that's not sort of thematically consistent with its surroundings, because then you're going to be that one neighbor that everyone kind of hates, because the neighborhood had a vibe and you came in and you changed it. And yeah, you know what? We support your right to, you know, do your house up the way that you want to. That's the wrong item. Because it's your property and you should have the final say. And anyone who says otherwise is authoritarian dictatorship adjacent and should absolutely be run out of polite society. But also at the same time, like, just because you can do something, that doesn't mean you should. You should probably consider your options very carefully. And I think I've considered my options and decided to go with sand. But that's C, and I meant to hit V, so we can do more of this in one go. There we go. There we are. Lovely sandy beach, except for that one little patch right there of snow. Gotta go. Perfect. And then the problem is, once I've started doing this, I have trouble, like, stopping, because I just look into the water and I think, wouldn't that all look better if it was sandy. And then I don't know what happened here or over here, for example. Like, why is there stone there? And then also sometimes I can't get myself to go underwater. I have to go through, like, multiple attempts in order to actually get us to sink down. I think there's something, right, like, so when you're flying, if you land on the water, you see what I mean? Like, it just won't let me get under the water. It's bugged beyond belief, and that's alright. We don't need to deal with that right now. Let's go ahead, and I was going to use stone brick. I like the way it looks around Christmas time, too. It's a little bit weird that it changes its appearance for the holiday season, but, you know, who are we to, question such simple things? But if this is going to be, let's see, is there an actual center to this? It doesn't look like it. Hold on, let's see. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the middle here. This is where we begin. Why does that not look like the... What? What? It's supposed to look like it does in my inventory. It's supposed to look like this over here. These beautiful stone brick stairs and walls. Oh, that's also wrong. Wait, whoa! Wait a minute. How come some of it looks right? Hold on. Wait, what? Are these two different blocks? What's going on here? They're the same block. They're both the same block. What? What the heck? There we go. There we go. I had to shuffle some files around. I had to do some things with the resource packs, but there we are. Wonderful. Yes, this is exactly what we want. Even if it's only going to look like this for the holiday season, you know what? All I have to say to that is, hickory-do, hickory-dock. Let's all enjoy the way it looks to knock. Nah, I don't know. I think spruce is going to be our secondary color for a lot of this. Not because I have sort of any kind of particular affinity towards spruce, but rather because that is what we have over here, sort of the dominant color for the two villages, and that's who this train is for. It's for Marble Meadows, and of course the wonderful folks over here at Spruce Shores. We could have probably built the train track further back here, but, you know, closer to Spruce Shores, but that would have sort of obscured... We might just build a second train track for them, like a second train station exclusively for them at some point. If we find that we have the time, which we might not, because Christmas is rapidly approaching. So we got to get this done. Remember, we got to build a Christmas train. We got to build sort of a Polar Express kind of situation to get Christmas presents to all the good boys and girls of Minecraftia, and so we need to get started on that too. There's a lot to do. There's a lot to do over the next several days, is what I'm trying to say. As per usual, I don't really have any kind of good idea of what it is I'm doing. I don't have any sort of vision in mind. I'm just putting down blocks, and we're going to see where it takes us. So if that is fence, and then we have at least a 2-space gap, okay? And then this is where the train goes. This is maybe the outgoing or the incoming train. And then another space, and then another train, and then another 2-space gap, and then we want to go out one more block for another fence. That should be about wide enough, I think, assuming we want to lay it all out like that. It also does leave some room for expansion if we decide we do want to add train tracks to other places in the future. I mean, we could also just extend the train, like we could have maybe this part come down and go underneath the tracks and come up over here into a secondary station in the future, if we are so inclined to do such a thing. Okay, so now we can make proper use of this. We want to put it in extension mode, crank it up, and then just fill all this in very delicately so as not to accidentally expand too far. That's pretty much what we want, I think. And then what I was thinking we could do is first off power this down. Or put it in our offhand. That seems like it could be an issue. But we'll power it down so we don't make any horrific mistakes we can't recover from. We'll get some grass, okay? And then we'll fill in these spaces here. And we'll plant some lovely little plants. And it'll look great. There we go, yeah. Maybe get some, we'll get some blues, because we do know that we like the color of the blue flowers, particularly the azure bluette and the blue orchids. So we'll grab us plenty of those. Too many of those, really. and maybe we'll just go in a nice sort of alternating pattern. Yeah, look at that. Those even have sort of, I think because of the blue color, an icy, wintry Christmas flair to them. So I appreciate that quite a bit. Now let's talk about building a roof on this place, and let's not talk about it. Let's just kind of do it. Doesn't need to be very tall, and you all know that I'm a fan of the pillars on the corners. Pillars of wood. It's a look that I feel has shown up quite a bit in everything I've ever done. So there we go. So let's say you walk in here, and do we really need the spruce planks on the ground? I feel like of all the places we don't need that, this is the place where we should probably stick to just straight up stone brick, hard stone brick flooring. You walk in, it's a beautiful place. Okay, you're not really going to be able to see the flowers for the fencing. I realize that now, but it's what needs to be done, because you also can't have a bunch of snot-nosed brats coming in here and digging up the flowers while their parents aren't paying any attention. They're just on their phones, and then when someone comes by and is like, hey, your kids can't do that. Oh, my kids can do anything they want to. You know the type of parent. You've seen them in the restaurants when the kids are running around making a ruckus and tripping up the waiters, and someone has the nerve to say, excuse me, could they not? Like, don't tell my children what to do! You're like, well, someone's going to, and it's either going to be you or the long arm of the law one of these days. I was going to see if we had like a buffer, you know, like a classic Thomas the Tank Engine looking kind of buffer situation, but it doesn't look like we do. I guess we'll just use a block of spruce as our buffer. That'll work just fine. Okay, I mean, it looks a little cramped, but so far, I'm thinking this is going to work. So I think what we want now is not necessarily an activator track, because I'm still not entirely sure about those. I think we want probably a booster track there. The thing is, I've not done a whole lot with trains in Minecraft, even though growing up, I was absolutely a Thomas the Tank Engine kind of kid. Even so, I've just not done a lot of trains in Minecraft. But I think something like that should probably work. Maybe? Well, we could do a quick test. Hold on, let's see. If we get some of these... Well, I should have seen that coming. We might have to, like, trick it to stay upright. But I do think you want it like that for when you take off. Don't you want it slightly elevated? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it works fine when it's not slightly elevated. Also, if you leave out of this one and you come back in this one, that one doesn't need to be a booster track. But let's get ourselves a button. I don't think that a booster track will make you move, right? Unless you're already moving. I take it back. That definitely appeared to do something. Alright, come back here, you. Why is there only green on the turns? That's odd. That's very odd. It's very festive, though. Let's go. Boop. Perfect! We've got trains, everyone! Do we want to go out on the right or the left? I was thinking, you know, classic American style, you really do want to have your outgoing traffic over here in the right lane, because that's, you know, the right thing to do, the right lane. But looking now at the layout of this, it kind of feels like that doesn't make sense. If you're new people coming in, you probably want to board right here, not have to walk all the way around. But then again, if you're coming in after... Okay, here, let's look at it like this. Early morning... Maybe you're a villager and you work on the sort of central island over there that doesn't have a name yet, but does need a name, and we'll give it one. Early morning, I have to like walk around here, but it's okay because I've got my cup of coffee and off I go. And then long hours of work. You come in the afternoon. At least it's a shorter walk to get home now. Yeah, okay, that's what we'll do. That's what we'll do. I completely forgot everything that I said, though, about having a ticket counter and all that. Like, it completely escaped my mind. So we just did not account for that in here. There's no room for it unless we add it back here behind the track and we just kind of extend it backwards a bit, which we could absolutely do. And in fact, I think that's what I will do. We'll have it be... Oh, but there's nowhere for people to queue up. You know what I mean? People need to queue up to buy their tickets. Maybe you don't buy tickets. Maybe you just buy a pass and it, like, direct charges your account. That seems like the more sensible thing. So you don't need a whole... Like, the first couple of days while it's open and everyone's coming in to buy their pass and get it set up and everything, there might be a bit of a weird queue situation. But then after that's done, you know, as people come in the future, they'll just sort of, like, scan their card and get in the train and go. And then this guy back here will only have to deal with people who like have lost their cards, or people who have, maybe it's like first generation magnetic card technology where if you put it next to your cell phone, it wipes it. So they have to like reset it and all that. Or, oh, I didn't take this train. And then they have to look up the security footage and say, you did 13 times. It looks like you were drunk. Oh, I'm gonna sue. It's like, what are you gonna sue over? We literally have you on video. Like, the customer's always right. It's like, no, sometimes the customer's an idiot, a drunk idiot, like you yesterday when you rode the train 13 times. We're not refunding you. I'll just use another train track. There is no other train track. That's the issue, isn't it? Now we have basically a monopoly on the rails. But, I mean, maybe if they figure out how to build their own train tracks, they can make a competing business. We're not going to worry about that right now. There we go. That's enough room, right? That way we can kind of have it set in a little bit. The customers can stand between these two pillars, and then we'll have the desk kind of start here. Ooh, you know what we could do is we could get spruce stairs, right? Follow me on this one. Trust me, it's going to make a lot of sense. If we can get them configured in the right way, we might have to go ahead and set down like a sort of guide block of sorts to set down the first one. So if we set that there we go. That's the desk. Yeah. Maybe if we'd set it the other way, that would make more sense, so that whoever's working back here could store things under the desk inside of that little cubby. But it's too late and we're not going back now. Oh, shoot. Do you know what I didn't take into consideration? Is how the villagers are going to get in and out of here. I guess they'll have to have their own access door. It makes more sense for this to also be like the break room for whoever works in the railroad. So they need a way in and out to the train track proper, don't they? Because my alternative was to just have another sort of like do out here, and then they go, what, all the way around through all the customers and everything? Like, maybe I'm putting way too much thought into this. That's possible, but we'll put a door here instead. And then maybe they'll also have an access door out the back or something like that. We probably don't need to put this much thought into all this, but yet I am. Here I am. This is what's happening. You know what? We did need more flowers. So it's a good thing we got arguably too many flowers, because now we have enough flowers. Okay, there we go. So now we have enough room for either 1, 2, 3 workers, if you want to have a gap of one in between each, or just 2 workers. And we might do 3 sort of in the earlier days while, you know, there's a bit of a rush, and then maybe also around sort of the peak travel season, so Christmas time, for example, and then bring it back down too. We'll have to find someone who's willing to do some part-time work just for like a couple of months out of the year, and then on holidays as well. But a lot of people are looking for that sort of thing. I've noticed older people, normally like retired people, they really love that. They look forward to that sort of thing, where it's like, oh yes, perfect Christmas. I get to go work some bonus hours at the Hobby Lobby, and, you know, make a little bit of extra scratch and spend all, you know, this time hanging out with the youngins and then talking to the young folk and, hee-hi-ho-hum, you should have seen what it was like back in my day, kiddo, haha, that sort of a situation. I think just the classic arched roof is probably what we're going to go for here, made out of logs, the log arched roof. It's a favorite of mine, has been for some time. We're probably going to go with that, and then I do think we probably need to put down some tracks here on the end just for safety. If anyone's walking on the rails, quite honestly, I don't know what to tell them. Do plant pots of any kind exist? Is there any kind of like a planter pot? Ooh, what are you? Planter range extender. Not what I want. Can I just build a pot? What is this? Small red gift flower pot. Well, what is it? Is it a flower pot? Can I plant trees in a flower pot? Because I noticed that the spruce trees kind of look a little bit festive. I don't see them in my inventory anymore, but I had some in my inventory. I'm positive of it. I was definitely, or maybe I opened up something else and typed in spruce and saw them. In any case, here's a real question. Would this work? I don't think that it would, but it'd be great if it did, because I think the issue is that it's at sort of an angle. Oh, you know what? We need to make sure that it is... Oh, it was on extension mode already. Well, you know what? A fella can dream. There we go. Yeah. Okay, this is looking all right. Now, normally I would do an extra layer kind of hanging off the edge here, but that would sort of awkwardly make contact with the fence post here, and I don't know about that. And then, I don't know. You folks can let me know what you think. I'll tell you what. We'll go ahead and do Oh, no! Okay, there we go. Problem resolved. We'll go ahead and just do this one across here, because that'll be easy enough to take back down if we decide we don't like it. We'll have a look at it, though. Let's see. Meh. You know, I don't know if it's necessary is the only thing. I do like it a bit better than this side, where it just looks like it kind of abruptly cuts off, and it makes this edge way too flat. Because we decided to do something I normally don't do, which is put the wood sort of support posts directly in line with the inner wall, the sides look very flat, and I don't like that. And there's some different things we can do about that to address that if we wanted to. But that right there is like a quick and easy way to immediately add some dimension. I think we'll stick with it, and we'll just kind of deal with the fact that the posts touch. It's not that big a deal. It doesn't really affect anything. And honestly, you don't really notice it, do you? I think that's pretty good. I think one thing we should do, though, because otherwise this is going to be really oppressive, is we need to add some windows back here. Because otherwise this place is just really kind of a miserable place to work. And we definitely don't want that to be the case. You know what we could do is we could use glass panes, because we've not really used those at all. And you can even do them in different colors. So you have the regular Minecraft glass panes. We also have these chiseled glass panes, which I think is just you run, you know, your colored glass, you turn into a glass pane, and then you run it through your chiseler, and you make your different designs. But I don't know. I don't know what color we would make them. Maybe we'll just go with the standard ones from now, and kind of just have the knowledge that we can change it later if we so choose. Yeah, that even looks great. It kind of blends in with the wood around it. That's fantastic is what that is. Nice. We'll do a window at the back as well, just because. I think that would be nice too. There you go. Kind of look out back here and say, oh yeah, here comes the morning crowd. Get in your position to tickets here, get your ticket. Well, not tickets. We discussed this previously, but you know what I mean. I don't know if this is a real thing, but I just thought it might be nice for people to be able to get up here, you know, and sort of survey, not your regular passengers, but just like, there's a problem on the line, head upstairs and see if you can see what it is. That sort of a situation. Now we just need to figure out how they get up there. Ladder? Okay, so here's what I've done. I have made a little walkway where you can kind of oversee things. And then you get up and down via this ladder here. And then to accommodate that, I just bumped this out one block using more stairs. So it's cool. You get this cool tiered effect. You get the stairs, and the stairs. This is where you order your tickets. And then every so often you might hear clunk, clunk, clunk. And you look up, and there's like a conductor up there like blowing his whistle and telling people where to go. I'm having just the best time right now. I don't know if that's like evident or not, but I'm really enjoying myself. Okay. I think redstone blocks can be used to perpetually activate tracks, if I am not mistaken. So if you wanted to get a stack of booster tracks, and let's say here, you have maybe a bit of a gap after you launch out of that first one, click, 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 and then right at the end here, you have maybe... Well, actually, I guess we need to figure out how this works. So are they going to be always elevated rails? Is that what we're going to do? Because it has to otherwise go up and down as it makes its way across the countryside here. It's ultimately going to land at about the same elevation over here. So yeah, maybe we just keep the track at a set elevation. And if that's the case, then I'm going to need to build some... I don't know if they'd be called bridges. More so just like stone raised areas here like this. And then we'll need one for the return track as well. And then I guess the question becomes exactly how grandiose do we want this to be? Because we can make this exceedingly grandiose if we want. You know what I mean? First off, we can extend this out pretty easily. There's no reason to have a gap in the middle here, is there? I mean, we could just get rid of this gap and just have the two like going like that. But then, do we also want to keep spruce fencing to either side all the way there to keep things from wandering onto the track? And maybe accidentally getting hurt? Do we want this to eventually become like bridges sort of a situation? Where it goes a certain number of blocks, like boom, 1, 2, 3, and then there's another one, 1, 2, 3, boom. I do kind of like that. And then the question is, do we do this one in the sort of, oh, wait a minute. What if we did that one like that? And then this one had all of its alternating, right? See, my only concern with a design like this is, as cool as it is, it's a bit of work to build it, right? Now, it's not difficult. Let me rephrase that. It's a bit time consuming, as opposed to what I was doing, where I just had one single sort of unit, and then I just sort of filled it in as we went, and then we do that all the way down. Like, that's just basically a matter of me going click, 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 click. And I'm not just thinking about this rail. I'm thinking about all of them. So how about this? Because I do like the look of the flowers, you know. Hold on, I've got a brilliant idea here. You just need to hear me out. What if we do this U shape, and then we fill the middle with dirt and grass and flowers? So you have rail, flowers, rail, and then maybe on the outsides we do also grab some stairs. Now this will have to be manually placed, which is going to be a little bit of a hassle. Hold on, do I really not have stone brick stairs? That's ridiculous. I understand that there is a method by which I could craft them that is currently in my inventory that does not necessitate a full-on return trip to the house. I fully do understand that. I want everyone to understand that I understand that. But stone brick stairs don't have an EMC value. Oh, that's going to be a pain in the neck, isn't it? But there we go. I've made quite a few of them. We could just assign a value to them. I understand why they don't. I understand. But still, what we could do is we could have that be like that. And then that be like that, and then we could continue having the spruce fencing along. And then also, I mean, see, now we're getting to a point where I can no longer kind of cheese it the way I was going to, using the mercurial eye if I keep making this more complicated, you know? But what if we did that instead, and we had these like this, and so it was sort of that shape coming out and going along the way. Like, there's no doubt this would be a pain in the neck to have to build to sort of every major population center, and is so much worse than what I was previously talking about doing. I mean, goodness, that's gonna take forever to build. And then we've got to come back through with the grass and the flowers. Maybe just to here, though. Maybe the other ones, because these are my people, and I'm gonna take care of my people. I'm gonna make sure they have sort of the best experience. I'm not going to intentionally sabotage anyone else's experience, but maybe I just don't go through quite as much effort on everyone else's. That looks kind of cool. And then finally, yeah, we have the rails along the sides here like this to, again, keep people or animals or whatever from accidentally wandering into the... Hold on, let's see, spruce fences. There we go. To keep people from accidentally wandering... Ah, jeez. Yeah, that's what I thought. That won't work on anything other than the stone bricks. Oh. Well, how different does it look if we replace just this bottom part with the stone blocks? Okay, let's see. You know what? It's nighttime, so it's hard to tell. It doesn't look that different. I don't think it looks that different at all, and just that change is going to save us so many sort of individual block placements that I think we'll go ahead and we'll just say we'll do that, and then that way that's going to make sort of the rest of it a bit easier to accept, because the manually placing the dirt and the flowers is going to be a whole lot easier if we can at least make sort of the base of this thing much more quickly using the mercurial eye, which, okay, well, we would be able to. If we could get, like, an actual hit on it. Alright, well, shrek me sideways. We're gonna have to be very careful about clicking, though, is the only issue. If there's anything in the way, it's gotta go. Okay, so this will not work unless we first clear out all of this. Which we can do using the power of the destruction catalyst. Very carefully. We don't get silly with it. We just very lightly use it. There we go. Clear all that away. Continue this. And no, I wish this could be used to also... You know what? We don't really need it to be on high. I don't know why, but that felt like asking for trouble. We'll just keep it kind of low. In fact, I think even on the lowest setting, yeah, it would still work for what we're doing here. Once we get to areas like this, though, where there's a gap to the ground, I don't know what we do. We worry about it later is what we do, I guess. Although, if we fixed it now... Hold on. If we go ahead now and say we fill it in, then as we go, it'll be filled in. Okay, so as we get out to the open water, I think things need to change a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and do this, at least. Oh yeah, now I can go underwater. We'll have this extend to the sea, at which point I think we will transition to a bridge. So according to the internet, boosting to full speed from a complete stop requires 3 booster tracks in a row. So if we have 1 here to kind of slowly take us up to here, and then we have 3 in a row that are going to be used to actually get us up to speed as we leave the station, and it's a bit safer for us to do so, you know, because we don't want to injure anyone kind of in the process who might be, for some reason, standing on the railroad, not paying attention. I know we probably shouldn't worry about them, you know, if you're doing that at that point. Like, here's the thing. It might not just be some idiot standing in the rail. Maybe they tripped, maybe they were pushed. You know, you want to just maybe not be going full speed in the middle of the train track. So if we do that, though, where does that get us? And then according to some random thing I looked up, it says that you want 1 every 45 spaces if you want to maintain full speed. I don't know how much truth there is to that. Also, I am just not placing these quickly enough to actually be connecting them up, I know there's massive gaps. Alright, let's give this experience a go. Let's see what it's going to be like to run in this new railway we've created. Yep, okay. And then we get like a good speed boost. Hello. That's the experience there. How do I get out of this? Come here, you. Overall, it's alright. Not winning any awards for speed here, but it's alright. So from here, it'll become a bit of a bridge situation where we just go with the U-shape for a while. We're still gonna... Yeah, oh no, we're still bringing the dirt and the flowers. If you thought we were leaving that behind, you're crazy. Uh-oh. Part of me does wonder, though, if we're not wasting our time by not just making all of these booster tracks. I don't know how much good that does us, but... Alright, if you want to be able to just swim in water normally like a normal human being, you can take off your hat. That's the secret there, I've learned. Hat. It's a bit of a funny way to refer to the gym helmet, but you knew what I meant. Look at all these bees. What have we here? A meadows hive. I noticed there's another hive, like, right around here, I think it was, right by this tree? Yeah, we've got a forest hive. We should probably come scoop these in a bit and take the bees back with us. Okay, so here's an issue I hadn't considered until right now, as I'm making my way across this actual large body of water, because every previous instance of needing to build a bridge, all, you know, one of them right here, was just kind of making it over this tiny gap of water where it just kind of cuts into the land a little bit. But this is actually going over to the river, which, my understanding of it is that the dwarves rely on this for, like, trade, for people to be able to sail underneath here. So I'm gonna have to, like, elevate this somehow, where boats can still get underneath it. And we're not gonna worry about that at this exact moment in time, because right now I'm just kind of worried about getting this finished, but that's something we're gonna need to come back and consider. It's kind of easier to go out ahead of the tracks and just kind of clear out a space for them, you know? I figure right about here is where we're going to be building the big station. So we don't need to go much further than this, but maybe up until right around here. I reckon that ought to be long enough. And then we can come back through, and now that we sort of have the whole frame set up here, just slide right in. There we go! Now we'll worry about this, I guess. It kind of only needs to pitch up a bit in the middle to allow boats through, so how would we go about doing that? Can you build trains onto stairs, and how does that look? I guess, I mean, not trains, but train tracks. Not from the looks of things, no. Regular blocks, though. Absolutely. And then what if I broke this block out from underneath? The whole thing comes down, alright. Now that I'm looking at it, we really only need kind of these bottom blocks knocked out of the way. If we do that, yeah, that ought to be fine. I think this island might belong to the dwarves. It might be a part of their... What I'm going to do is I'm just going to very delicately break this so that we're not actually making contact with their land. They'll never know. Okay. That's kind of like what I did on this side. I just added stairs. And so that leaves us with this. The question here is, well, what do we do? Do we add dirt to the middle still? Or do we go ahead and try to elevate it up a block and sort of restructure the bridge in the air a bit? Okay, you know what? Going all the way back to the house to craft is a little bit silly. We have a Philosopher's Stone. We'll actually do this here. Gosh, but if the inventory isn't just an absolute mess right now, though. So much random stuff. We definitely need to try to tidy things up a bit. I could condense a lot of things because I don't really need all this dirt. There we go. And that sand I don't need. So that clears up a lot of space. Put the hat inside of there for right now. And then what I needed this for was I needed to go ahead and try to manufacture some stone brick slabs. Because what I was thinking we could do is we're going to go up one, right? So we have that sort of a design there, which looks a little horrendously messy, I'll admit. But, you know, ignoring that, we can do this, okay? And then we can continue to have the grass in between the rails here. And then that leaves, like, a good few blocks underneath here for boats to sail through. I think that's probably the approach. This looks messy from one side, but the only thing I could think to do is put it further back and have some sort of, like, a tower or something it's all nestled inside of? Maybe? Alright, well, a little bit of time has passed. Somewhere in the neighborhood of about an hour and a half of my life has gone, but I think I finally arrived at something that I like, and I want to show it to you. So first off, we have the train station now being lit up by a few of these fantastic end rods, which look really cool with the red bases. I really do like that. I think it adds a lovely Christmas flair, and yeah, I added one to the back here because otherwise it's just too dark back here for anyone to reasonably work, okay? I realize that the button can activate multiple tracks at once, meaning we can just get ourselves up to full speed here, and if anyone is in the tracks in between there and there, what happens, happens. It's outside of my hands. Now, coming out along here, I went ahead and expanded all of this out to activated train tracks, the booster tracks, okay? And I added a end rod here as well. And then the track's getting more simple from that point forward. We're not doing the brick stairs and the fences all the way down. So we've just got this nice simple. We did do the flowers in an alternating pattern, which is lovely. And then here we have a couple more booster tracks with some more spruce fence and some end rods. And something I might do just to sprucing it up further, and I'm not doing that as a pun because of spruce wood, though that would have been clever if I thought of it. I might add some Christmas lights stranded between each of these. Now that will necessitate that we add more of these kind of in certain intervals because the Christmas lights can only expand so far. I think we're kind of pushing it with these here, in fact. I can't remember exactly what the block count was, but we'll definitely have to add some more of these. But then we get to the bridge where we kind of left off in the video, and where I sort of went a little bit ham, right? I went a little bit crazy over here, all right? So what I did was I built these structures, which have a similar design as the station, so certainly inspired by that. We have this here on the outside, kind of hiding the mess of the stepped-up redstone blocks and everything. And so it goes up a couple of steps and gives us a nice big gap under here to sail under, so we should get some pretty good-sized ships sailing in and out of there. And, of course, if the situation, you know, if it comes down to it, we could sacrifice a bit more land over here to open this up to be like a big proper shipping channel with nothing kind of overhead. And that might be able to get around to where the dwarves are. I think this is where he does all of his trading, Fernie. I don't know how much traffic he actually has come through here. At one point we talked about cutting this out, carving this out here, and having this be a channel, but now that I've built a train track through it, honestly, I can't be bothered to go through that much effort. Up top here, because it's a bridge, I did go a little bit fancier, so we do have the red... Why is it lit up here? It's like the lighting engine is slightly broken. All of these should technically be lit up the same, because they all have redstone blocks underneath them and booster tracks, but whatever. And they do also have these inside, just kind of in the middle. So, as the sun's coming up in the distance, do you want to see what it all looks like when we actually climb aboard our vessel and go for a little bit of a ride? Well, of course you do, so let's do it. We're going to hop in, click the button, we're going to go into F5 mode, and I'm not going to put my hat back on because I don't know where it is. But as you can see, we are absolutely booking it right now here through the flowers and everything. We've just got such incredible speed. To be fair, It's faster than we would be going if we were walking, and I think the issue is just that we've been spoiled for speed for so long now that this feels rather slow. But as you can see, we'll then come right to a stop here in the station, which doesn't exist yet. That'll be sort of the... I'm sorry, what's going on back here? Sorry, what? I've got some, like, chaps going on. I guess I've never just looked at what I look like without the pants on. It's a little bit questionable, but we're gonna not worry about that for right now, alright? What we've got here, I think, is a lovely, solid construction bridge that just looks fantastic. I'm pleased with it. I hope that you're pleased with it. And if you're wondering, well, geez, what comes next in this whole endeavor? What are we going to do now that this is finished? Are we going to continue building more trains? Hold on, wait a minute. No, that's right. Not next episode. I don't want to do 6 episodes in a row where I have this train track, and then I build a station, and then another train track, and another train track, and another train track. We do need to build, so we need one for the dwarves. And this is something that I thought about as I was building this. I thought, should I go ahead and if, you know, we talk to the dwarves, build their station here, and then just connect it up to these tracks, or else have their tracks run parallel? And I thought, no, I guess not, because I've already built this bridge, and I don't want to widen it and make it bigger to fit more tracks. And it makes more sense, probably, to just have their train station, if they even need one. Why build them a train? We can just build them a bridge. They're right next door. They'll just build them a bridge. That's fine. They don't have nearly as far to go. We'll talk to them about it. We'll even center it up here. They have kind of a road situation there, and then a bridge going across. That'll be fine. They don't need a train station. So we really only need 2 more train lines. One going to the Ender Tower over there, probably just like a whoop and then a whoop sort of situation. And then one coming from somewhere over there, just whoop right into here. And then that'll be sort of the Grand Central Station situation. And then we'll have plenty of room for other train tracks going other places. We'll probably do those a little bit simpler, probably not quite as nice, probably not going to do a row of flowers between the rails. We'll probably just put the rails right next to each other and send them on their way. It might get complicated. I know speed, like sharp cornering can be an issue, but I don't know exactly like if that's something we need to actually worry about. We'll figure that out as we go. But till next time, thank you folks for watching. God bless you. Merry Christmas! And I hope to see you all again in the future, where we're probably going to bounce back now and look at bees and trees a little bit more next time. Although I highly doubt anything of any use or substance has happened over here. We'll find out then. Okay. Probably build that analyzer and start analyzing all of our bees. Bye!